Welcome back to the Jonestead. I'm Mary. Today is August 30th, 2025. And today I wanted to go over a couple articles that I think are really important. Yesterday, specifically, the Commerce Department reported that the PCE, otherwise known as the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, rose 0.2% from July and remained at 2.6% on a year-over-year basis. But what that's telling us is we're still seeing consistent inflationary increases. Core PCE, which excludes food and energy, was up 3.6% on a monthly basis and 2.9% from a year ago. So what the heck is core PCE? That is, core PCE includes one, durable goods, and those are items that usually last 3 or more years, for example, automobiles. Non-durable goods, which would be products consumed quickly, such as clothes and personal care, and then number 3 would be services, and this includes a wide range of industries, including healthcare, education, and transportation. And so just services, there was a 3.6% increase, higher in July compared to last year. And up from last month, which was 3.5% increase. So we all see these increases in healthcare costs, of course, costs of insurance, and also specifically looking at, we've seen, they don't include the cost for energy, but we have seen fuel costs have gone down for gasoline as an example. Which is a good thing, keeping more money in the consumer's pocket. The problem is when you have gas prices, unless you're having exponential energy exploration and expansion in that area, it's also an indicator of a reduction in the economy. So that's just really something to consider. But when we're looking at non-durable goods, or durable goods, for example, cars, and that having an increase, I came across an interesting article about, specifically it was on Visual Capitalist, and it's entitled Car Ownership Costs, Why 60% of Drivers Are Keeping Their Cars. And specifically, they're keeping their cars because the cost of maintenance is so high, they can't then, of course, go take on a further expenditure of an additional car payment, including the down payment. Not to mention the cost to insure newer cars is significantly more expensive. But I thought this was really important and very interesting. And it says, are Americans' car payments too high? And it's nearly 30% of respondents reported that their car payments were among their largest expense in their entire budget. And this breaks down what people are paying. Pretty much 56% of respondents, their car payment is between $201 and $500 monthly. Now you factor that's on top of maintenance, and maintenance has gotten extraordinarily expensive. Just taking your car in to have a diagnosis, and we have older cars, so everything's not on a computer, and so we're able to do some things. But I'm not a mechanic. So obviously we have to pay for certain maintenance issues such as oil changes and things like that. But my car, I have a Volkswagen wagon, is a year 2011. And we also have an older truck as well. So we do not own new vehicles. And I just have a really hard time, especially the new ones. If you see, people are paying exorbitant amount of money for them. I think I saw for a pickup truck, they were asking, I think it was $200,000 for it, for a pickup truck. But also, even if you're buying, say, a minivan is $50,000 all day long, cost to insure that. Plus, there seem to be recalls all the time on these newer vehicles. So the quality control is not what it used to be. And also on top of that, we have personal property tax. So whatever the locality decides your car, the value of your car, you have the privilege of paying a tax for that. So that's another consideration. But that is showing just this ongoing, even if maybe the cost of a new car, if that's going down, your maintenance costs are going way up. And then these newer cars, everything is computerized. So it's near impossible in order for people to even do anything on their own with their vehicles. So I thought that was very important, really interesting graphic to take a look at. And then I also wanted to wrap up with just some recalls, because we talk about, I like to talk about people being self-sufficient. And for example, we have hens and we have our own eggs. And one of the reasons is over the years, there's been huge volatility in the cost for a dozen eggs. I mean, it was up to $9 a dozen at one point, which is just ridiculous. But also quality control, because I know where my eggs are coming from and when I'm feeding my hens. It's not inexpensive to have your own chickens and to take care of them. The feed has gone up, literally, a 50-pound bag has gone up $10. And so that cost has gone up. But from my standpoint, the peace of mind is priceless. So I wanted to talk about real quick. This was announced on Thursday, an egg recall, and these are called country eggs. And there's been a salmonella outbreak, and these eggs are produced in California. And then there's also been, and you all may have remember me talking about the radioactive shrimp, the radioactive frozen shrimp, that they had a recall. Well, that's been expanded. And the radioactive shrimp is Indonesian, so it's imported, but it's then distributed through Walmart, Kroger, what were the other stores? Kroger, Payless, and Pick and Pay, I believe, was the other. And you can look that up. If you're concerned that you may have purchased some of this shrimp, just return it back to the store and specifically look up what package you have and see whether or not that's been recalled. So again, we go back to, why is it important to be self-sufficient? And granted, I'm not going to produce shrimp in my backyard, but I also want to make sure when I do purchase shrimp that I know where it's coming from, and I know that there's quality control behind it. But also when it comes to other foods, the more you can do on your own, that you can have, where you can become self-sufficient, and or you have backup. So for example, if you really like a specific product and suddenly it's not available, or there's an issue with it, you have it until that kind of blows over, and then you're able to purchase the product again. But again, in summary, we're still seeing the ongoing inflationary scenario, and it's just month over month, year over year, and it's hitting everybody's pocketbooks and making it really difficult for really families to get by. I don't know how they're doing it, but it's, two incomes, but then all of a sudden they're living on credit cards, so they're buried in debt. And breaking that cycle, one, is really important, but also just becoming self-sufficient as you possibly can, getting out of debt, and to protect yourself against the volatility in the marketplace, and to protect against future inflationary impacts. But hope you all find this helpful, and have a wonderful Saturday, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.